It's Unk&Nephew, baby. Drop the beat.
Hit that beat. Yeah. A lot of stuff on my mind right now, man. I gotta kick this freestyle about the Unk&Nephew podcast. It's Unk&Nephew. Unk&Nephew. You know what it do. It's Unk&Nephew. What are we doing? They love it. All right, man. It's Unk&Nephew podcast coming straight from you from Citywide Studios Green Room. It's your nephew, Jerrel Beamon. Unk over there, Unk.
Ray Jackson, baby.
All right, and he's smoking that cigar, that gas station cigar with us right here.
You are too young to understand about the culture. Don't talk about this is a job of mint.
That shit is poverty. But
this ain't poverty. This is good living.
Unk&Nephew podcast, man. 2 comics from Dayton, Ohio, man, shooting the shit about the generational differences. You know, I'm 20, he's like 50 something.
You ain't ready smoking the cigar yet, boy.
Shut your old ass up, man. Come on, we got a special guest here today.
We got
company. He's awkwardly sitting in between us in this weird Oreo situation, but he's a very dear friend of mine. Very dear friend. He's a very funny comedian from Dayton, Ohio, man. Give it up for Kyle Kemper.
Wow. Yeah.
I said it for him. There we go.
Thank you. K squared.
Yeah, okay. That's
a lot. Give him a hood name.
It's like Unk&Nephew and adopted cousin. I'm happy to be here.
It's reverse different strokes.
Yeah. It's like a reverse blindside situation. Cool.
How you doing, man?
I am good. I am doing very well. I got a new nickname now, so now I'm feeling like a little bit better than normal, but I feel very good. Thanks for having me. Very excited. And I normally have a cigar on me as well. I always smoke.
You're
a cigar guy?
I saw a picture of you guys on social media with cigarettes in you. You know you.
Yeah. Oh,
you just started drinking soda, Cal. You're not smoking.
Not on weeknights. Only on weekends I'll do a soda, but that's about it. No, it's we did do a picture with a cigarette. It was not lit. I can't handle a lit cigarette, so I won't.
So you're an aesthetic smoker. You just do it.
Very hipster. I'll have a cigarette in the air. You'll never see it lit.
You have a cigar?
Excuse me?
It sounded like you said cigar.
A cigarette. Let's make that very clear. Where's my camera? Where's my camera? I did not say what he said.
There.
Cigarette. I hit a hard T at the end.
I love them cigars, man. I just love them.
Oh my gosh.
You don't do nothing. This right here is what we call grown man shit. Y'all, you ain't even supposed to be smoking a cigar till you like 45.
You shouldn't, from what I hear, be smoking.
Right.
In general.
I look like if I were to smoke a cigar, it'd be on a yacht. I think that's more my speed.
The yacht that you got from embezzling the company.
If I'm smoking a cigar, somebody's like, he screwed over poor people one way or another. I just give off that look.
This is some supervillain shit.
Yeah,
you remember you was a kid, supervillain smoking cigar.
Yeah. Look, man,
You ever seen a poor person smoke a cigar? No.
I've never seen a poor person.
I'm looking at it right now, so I don't
that's shit.
No, he bought it from the good gas station. Knock it off.
He got it from Circle K.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Bullshit. But if they had them for sale, I'd get one.
Yeah.
But no, I am not poor, but I'm average. I'm doing okay.
So average people smoke cigars.
I can eat what I want to eat, man.
Look, man. We gotta
go where I want to go.
We gotta get into why we have Kyle here, man.
Because he's white. That's why he's here.
He gives us the mass appeal.
Yeah,
he's gonna make us crossover. He's our Jim Carrey.
He's like, there you go. He's our Jim Carrey. He's our Conan O'Brien. He's the next Conan O'Brien.
Thank you.
And this is where it started. Later on, when they do an A&E biography about you, they'll come back to this podcast like you started. Me and Jerrel will still be.
Nah, they ain't about to go back to our shit.
No, you got to start. He's gonna have that. He'll have that type of juice in Hollywood like that. Like put them right there.
My A&E biography that ends with me dying of inhaling too much cigar smoke. That's about it.
Hey man, you gotta die from something.
That's true, and you're gonna die a lot quicker than us. So that's very exciting.
Look, man, I wanted to say, man, Kyle just did his first headlining weekend at a comedy club, man.
Oh.
At Wiley's Comedy Club, oldest comedy club in Ohio. One of the main reasons why I wanted him to come on, not just because he's my dude. I wanted to really hear, because we didn't really get to discuss, how did that feel to headline? If you guys don't know, headlining a weekend to a comic is a big deal. it's a big deal. You're moving up from just doing showcases and featuring to headlining a whole weekend, and it's your home club. So how did it feel when they asked you, man?
It was very exciting. And I want to say, I mean, Jerrel hosted and he killed it. I mean, he got them warmed up in a hot crowd the whole show. I mean, here's the thing. You can headline a club, but if the crowd's not hot when you go up, anyone's going to bomb. So I appreciate that, and I can't thank you enough. How it felt to headline. Look, I was honored that everyone else said no. I mean, that was just the best part. They asked everyone, not even comedians. They were stopping people in the street. They're like, could you do this? And they're like, no. And then eventually they got to me, and I said, sure. So that was exciting. There was a lot of pressure in the sense of, like, you're the show. And, like, when I was about to do the show and there were, like, people walking up that I didn't recognize, they were just average people who, like, were just there to see comedy. I was like, oh, they, like... I'm their night out. You know what I mean? Like, they worked all week, and they're like, pressure
on.
Oh my gosh. Like, they've worked a whole stressful week, and they're like, this is our fun night out. And it's like, all right, well, now I better be good, you know? When it's not before that, when you're on the lower level, you're just like, look, I mean, if I bomb, there's 19 other people in the show that will still have a good time.
The headliner picks it up.
Yeah.
Headliner picks it up.
Yeah, so I really had to do that. But it went well. It was a lot of fun, and, we... sold upwards of 2,000 tickets. So that was
2,000 at a comedy club that holds 150.
My man,
we had to tell a lot of people no.
Damn you, COVID.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We sold 2,000, but we only let about 30 people in each show. So
really?
Yeah, it was a hard decision, but
it was hard to turn all those people.
Yeah. Especially
away.
The screaming hot women who really wanted in so badly. But I was like, gals, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I call them gals. Does that help anyone else out?
Man,
I call them gals.
Kyle, what I love about Kyle is how much he embraces his dorkiness. I love how much he embraces the quirky dorkiness. It's not an insult. You know how some niggas give a backhand comment? This is real. This is the
coolest outfit I could wear. And if you come at me for this shirt, I mean, I'm going to just make a scene. I'm gonna mispronounce cigar again if you keep...
So, you got your headline and it went well. I popped my head in there. I'm proud of you. But let's kind of take it back. Let's take it back to basically the beginning, because we all kind of... I've watched both of you guys come in the club. Basically, you were part of the. You started on the Sunday night comics open mic. Yeah. Can we shift the picture? And we go back here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That was. I'm not sure you can kind of see everybody.
Yeah.
Dang, Kyle was way put in the back.
Yeah. But that you see yourself, and that was. Show that we had put together for you guys, all the new guys that were coming up.
I think my right eye took the night off. That's crazy.
Yeah. Shouts out to Joe Young wherever you are.
Yeah.
Joe Young's the other white guy. Shout out to Joe.
Where's Waldo now? Where's Joe?
He's the other white guy, but then they realized there could only be one, so they took him out back and shot him after this was taken.
So what was your entrance into the comedy game?
So it's kind of I started in high school. I went ahead and I did my high school talent show. I wasn't going to do it. And then something just forced me. Like, I missed signups. And then somebody forced me to do it. Like, I was leaving school that day, and I was like, I should really do this or else I'm going to regret it. So I ran back in. I signed up last minute for this talent show, which is a horrible idea, by the way. If anyone's ever thinking about doing stand-up, the first time to do it is not in front of 300 of the people who could bully you. That's a terrible idea.
That was my first time as well.
Right.
I would agree.
Yeah.
It is not.
Looking back on it, we're like, why would we ever do that? That's terrible. But I did it. It went. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say it went well. I ended up winning this talent show. So, like, on paper, it went well. But if you had footage of that first time I did stand-up and you showed it to me, I would blow my brains out. Like, I remember the jokes I did then were so different from what I did now. I mean,
my God, what was different?
I used to be very political. No, I'm kidding.
At a school talent show.
I was pure
Hillary.
Def Jam. I was pure Def Jam, and I think I did like one-liners that were just like so bad.
Bad jokes or just street jokes?
Yeah.
What do you mean by one-liners that were bad?
Oh man, I can't even think of one, but like, I have the set list in my pocket. No, I always carry it around with me.
I still remember you told me you did an opener about your name.
Yeah, my first joke I ever did was my name is Kyle Kemper. So that means my initials are almost racist, but not quite. That was the first joke I ever did.
At a school.
Oh yeah, I realized later you couldn't say that. There was some pretty upset.
They pulled you over to the side like a cow.
It's about to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then, so how does that transition into coming? Because you're from Springboro.
Yeah.
You know, that's quite a ways away from Wiley's. You know, not very far, but how does a kid that's still in high school transition? Like, did somebody tell you? Were you just interested?
I think I was interested in it. I think I literally Googled like comedy clubs near me, and Wiley's Comedy Club came up. I found out like where you could sign up, so I sent him an email, and I got on that Sunday comic show, which we all still do. And I remember it sounds very cheesy what I'm about to say, but like I was 16 years old, so you couldn't get in without your parents. You probably remember this as well.
I remember that.
I remember.
So I went in there with my parents, and then I did it. It went okay. And then like when I left, my parents like, so what'd you think? And this sounds very cheesy, but I remember telling them, I was like, that's my favorite place in the entire world was Wiley's Comedy Club. And it still is, in the sense of like, I mean, I feel like you're always gonna have a soft spot for your home club.
It's just comfortable.
Yeah,
it's comfortable. And if anybody that does, if you do comedy, you will understand this if you're watching. It's some clubs you kind of gotta kind of tippy toe around, and we're not saying like you could do whatever at Wiley's, but you can kind of you can move how you want to move. That's what I'm saying.
You're comfortable there.
Because I remember seeing you were young, and you came in, and everybody was like, you know, there's this kid, you know, about to go up. I'm like, oh, for real? And for me, like, you guys don't know, like, you probably know now, like, if you're good, we'll come in and watch you, but if you're like something like we'll just stay at the bar, like there's OGs and stuff, and we'll stay outside and keep talking. But certain people go on, we be like, everybody like, you just see it, and sometimes you be on stage like, damn, everybody came in the room to see this shit. So did you kind of, when you started out and you kind of saw like the vets, because like you could see us, and like, well, I'll go with how I was. I would see these guys, and they would be talking about any and everything, blah, 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 blah. You trying to get your thoughts right, but I'm trying to get my thoughts right. And then you be like, how do they do that? How do they transition from arguing like, you know, you up next? All right.
Yeah.
And just hit it.
Yeah.
Was that the same experience for you at the beginning?
I was so nervous. Yeah, I was very intimidating by like the vets in comedy, and like you definitely were like one of my favorites. Not so much anymore, but
that's fine. That's fine.
Ever since you done blew cigar smoke in my face.
No, I'm kidding. Like you still are, of course, but like, and I'll tell you a story. There's a story about you making me laugh harder than anyone's ever made me laugh in Dayton comedy. I'll tell you that in a second. But you're right. It would just seem so cool. You especially were so relaxed. You'd just be hanging out, you know, talking with people, and then someone's like, oh shit, you got to go up, and they'd be like, oh okay, and then you just do it immediately. I was like, oh, if I could get to that where it's so casual and that comfortable on stage. And now I'm looking enough where I am able to do that, and I go out of my way to make sure I'm like doing something completely else before I go on stage, you know, just like hamming it up with people, and then just for the fact that I love just running up on stage and being able to do it. So that was the best part. I was like, I looked at like people like yourself, I was like, I will never be that comfortable on stage.
Man, because I remember one night we were all, and you probably remember, we were all at Barrel House doing an open mic, and everybody was hitting that shit. And I had to go, like, I had to follow you that night. And you went up, and I was sitting there like, shit.
I remember, bro. I was looking at you like, yo.
They was looking at me like, shit, kid is coming on. I was like,
looking
woo.
at you like, what?
I said,
white
shit,
boy done put the heat
on my ass. I said, well, shit, I can't let it down. And I said, I don't know if I can beat him tonight, but damn it, I ain't gonna be the one to fuck up the train tonight.
He was doing he was doing the crowd. I remember that was the week you was doing crowd work almost every set.
Oh yeah,
preparing for the crowd work show.
And I was back there like, it was weird because, you know, I had my poker face on, but deep inside, I was like, shit, damn. I was looking at my notes like, oh, damn it.
Where are we going to open
Where are we going to open with? Yeah. And I was just like, the kid is coming, man. The kid is coming. And now, you know, proud of you, man. You doing your thing, man. And I like how you do the improv work and go into the thing, into your set list and everything. And did you feel as now that you headlining that has helped you kind of stretch your material?
Yeah, I do feel like that. And I feel like a lot of times, like, I love doing crowd work. It's one of my favorite things. But then I'll have, like, this crisis every once in a while. I mean, you do a lot of it, too, in the sense, like, I'll do too much of it sometime. I'm like, can I even write a joke? Do I know how to write a joke? Yeah. And I'll get in my head about it.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, well, let's just try to not do crowd work for a week. Let's try to write a joke and just focus on that. I was really happy with my headlining weekend in the sense that I really didn't do that much crowd work.
Right.
And so I was pretty happy. I was like, okay, I've got the time of just material. I know that now. So now if I ever have to do it again, I can have more fun with it and do more crowd work. But like, I'll get in my head all the time because like, comics are like, there are some comics who really don't respect crowd work, which I disagree with, but they'll be like, oh, he only has 15 minutes of material and he does 30 minutes of crowd work, like that. And they don't think it's real comedy. They think it's like hacky and everything. But I mean, you're very good at it. You're very good at it as well. I think we all do it quite a bit.
But what I always tell people, how is it hacky off of observing things that no one can predict?
Right.
Because and that's what I tell people. Like, I remember they was like, don't do no crowd. I remember we had this one comic who was in a contest. They were like, don't do no crowd work. And then at the end of the show, he went up and did time and he did all crowd work. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, some people don't. They want it all. They want all the crowd work to
themselves
too, though.
And I'm just like, and sometimes it can be hard for people. Like, we go up and do all that, but then other comics have seen me and I do basically no crowd work and just go straight into, I'm about to plow through this shit.
You got to be able to do both.
Yeah,
I think it's important. But my pet peeve is when like someone will be like, "Hey guys," like a headline will be like, "Hey, no crowd work, please, because I do crowd work and I don't want you guys to take the good crowd work." I'm like, oh, then you're not good at crowd work. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh no, that guy in the front row, he's a really funny shirt, and nobody else say anything about it because I want to.
You better not talk about purple shirt guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to God, if y'all talk about fucking purple shirt guy,
yeah, you can't come up with something.
And sometimes I'm in the back of the room and I'm like, damn, they got him.
Yeah.
Take that off the list.
Right. Sometimes it happens, but then like it's also kind of fun because you're like, all right, well now I gotta come up with something else.
Yeah. That's
Well, that's why you should be in the room too, bro. Like, especially if you're a crowd work dude. If you're not in the room and something like happened, and then you go up trying to talk about the same shit, people looking like, what?
Right. I've seen that happen too.
Yeah, so-and-so already said that. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Look at this guy with the purple shirt. They're like, we know.
We know.
9 people talked about it. That's great.
Well, what made you start getting more into crowd work in your act? Because when I first came around and was seeing you go up, it seemed like you were more focused on delivering your jokes, doing your jokes, and then it seemed like after a year of that, out of nowhere, I was like, God damn, Kyle's like good as hell at crowd work. Like, you just started
I appreciate
getting on motherfuckers.
I think it really just took, obviously, you only get comfortable on stage by getting up on stage over and over and over again and just like doing terrible shows. And I can tell you the night I remember in my head, I was on stage. I was like, oh, I just got comfortable on stage. Do you guys remember the stage door open mic?
Yeah.
One of the worst mics.
Oh, God.
One of the worst mics. But like, God bless them for letting us do comedy. Thank you, anyone who lets us do comedy.
I don't even know how it ended. It just
COVID.
We just said fuck it.
But I was up there, and they had like that stripper pole in the middle of the stage.
Yep.
And then there were like 4 older men at the bar. They weren't paying attention. None of the comics were paying attention, and I wasn't doing well. But I think that's when I was like, oh, none of this matters.
It's like, wow, I feel comfortable during this.
Yeah. Oh, if I can do this, I can do a comedy club, full of people. So it was in that moment I was like, oh, like I'm going to be okay. And so I think when I got more comfortable, I started to have fun on stage, which, dear God, that's my best advice to give the new comics. See, he's dying already. I knew what happened, dude. He's going to die on the podcast, dude.
That gas station cigar, man.
Yeah, join us next week for the new podcast of Nephew. That's going to be exciting.
Kyle and Nephew, you going to take his place.
Yeah, dude.
Nephew.
I'm wearing that outfit, too.
Nephew and cousin.
Nephew and nephew's accountant. That's going to be us.
So you're saying have fun.
Yeah,
if you're not having fun, then it's not going to be a good set for you.
And the audience can tell when you're like stressed. I always use a pretty cheesy analogy of like, as a comedian, you're like a tour guide for the audience. Okay. If I was going on a hike in the woods and my tour guide was like, so I guess what we're going to do is we're going to go down this trail, if he goes like, no one's gonna want to follow that tour guide. But if you're confident on stage, be like, all right, here we go, we're going hiking this way, and then like just like spitting out facts, like that's what you're doing. You know, the crowd wants to feel comfortable with the guy that's on stage. You're like their tour guide, and everything
that's
feel
true.
safe.
Yeah.
It's like talking to the women or trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
It's all about how you pitch it. If you're
Right.
pitching it like, hey, who's your internet provider? I already got that. But if you, I can save you $150 on internet. If you, oh well, shit, you know what? I'll listen. Like,
Who's your internet provider is actually how I hit on women. Is that not how you should be doing it?
I was told by, who was it who told me this shit so long ago? It was a black. He used to be on BET. I can't think. And he pulled me to the side. He said, Ray, you doing good, man. But you got to be like a pimp out there on them jokes. You got to make them bitches believe. And he was talking to me like he was like the pimp coach. Like, when you get out there, you say that shit and you make them feel it. And I was like, okay, all right.
do you get that advice from Iceberg Slim?
Yeah, it was like the Iceberg Slimmer. He told me to be like a pimp. Like,
look at Kyle. He's like Iceberg Slim.
And isn't that really what I was saying with my hiking analogy? You got to make those bitches believe. I mean, he said the same thing.
Like, you
Bitch,
know
we going down the trail.
And that's the whole thing about it. It's different things, but it's all, you got to believe.
Yeah.
You got to believe, because my whole thing is like all of us are kind of the same comedian, but not the same. But it's always more of a conversation than just one-liners, and you know.
Yeah, because he say he started trying to do one-liners or with the talent show, and now I wouldn't say Kyle does that at all.
No. And that's the thing is I just got comfortable on stage, started having more fun. I started talking to the crowd a little bit. And I think it's exciting, and like I said, you guys do it too, but it's like, it's exciting to start a conversation with someone in the audience. You don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But you like, I know I'm going to come up with something funny by the end of this.
Right.
You know, I'm confident enough that like, you know, let's see if I can pull this off. It's like skydiving, and I don't know if my parachute's going to open, but that's what makes it exciting.
Now that's where you lost me, Kyle.
Oh.
Holy shit. That's
Okay.
that Daredevil stuff. I was going to ask, so you say as long as you're really having fun, the audience can at least tell you're having fun. So have you ever had shows? Of course, everyone has bad shows. Mm-hmm. But you ever had a show that was awful, but you were still having fun during the awful?
Yeah, you get to a level where like you're having fun, and then you get this gray area where it's like I'm bombing and I'm miserable, and then you get past that and you get into another area where it's I'm bombing so hard that this is very fun.
You ever think about like sometimes you bomb so bad that you're like, yo, I'm like a once every month conversation for this cut. Like sometimes when you're just doing some shit at home, they're like, oh, you remember that fucking comedian that was horrible? They don't know your name or nothing. They're like, you.
Like, I know I made people in the audience proud of their shitty kids because they're not doing what I was doing. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, especially because you'll open up. Like, I dropped out of college for this, guys. Come on, clap for me.
And they're like, oh my God. No, yeah, I was doing a show, I remember, on my birthday of this year. It was like, I never do anything crazy for my birthday, but, it was like, it's my birthday. I get to do comedy. That's my favorite thing on the planet. And we were performing to this bar of people. And we walk in there, and I was like, so where's the stage? And the guy's like, oh, it's right here in this doorway. And
stage at the door.
Everyone at the bar, right? So I'm here, the bar's right here, and everyone's facing the bar. So I'm performing to people's backs. And I was like, I got a little cocky. I was like, well, I can get them to turn around. No,
said I could get.
No, I can't. Not for 45 minutes. I couldn't. It was bad. And then it was to the point where it's like, how funny is it that I am just doing everything and these people are just not even turning around? Like that is, you got to go out of your way to not give a shit that much about the comedy. And they did it. Props to them,
Props to, where was this at?
I think it was in Anderson, Indiana. Perhaps?
Shout out to the people in Anderson, Indiana.
Ironically, I also had one of the best shows of my life in Anderson, Indiana. It's a real hit or miss town.
Hit or miss town.
Do you remember me, you, and Johnny Woods going to Cincinnati?
I do.
I was like, this is the nicest kid I've ever seen. So we started, where did we start at?
We started at Mila's in Inglewood.
Yeah. So we were here in Inglewood, and all of a sudden, I can't remember if it was you or Johnny. It was like, there's a mic in Cincinnati, but we're looking at Johnny like, all right. Well, I didn't know where Johnny lived at.
Yeah.
I
forgot about this part.
And hey, Jerrel, so Johnny lives like in Vandalia or some shit.
Yeah, I've been in this spot.
Yeah, but Johnny doesn't want to drive. So he left. He took his car home, and we like ride because I think I rode with you.
You did.
Yeah, I rode with Kyle because I'm in the same direction as Kyle, so it all made sense till Johnny jumps in, and now we're riding. And I'm in my mind like, fuck that Kyle, make that motherfucker park at Myers by 741 or something, at least by me and shit. So he's being nice and shit, and we're riding. I'm like, this is going to be a long-ass night right here. And then it's his car. It's new. Johnny want to start smoking in the car. And I ain't talking about a cigar.
Not a cigar.
Hey, he's smoking weed.
That's
and I can tell he's noticeably uncomfortable with this shit.
But he's not saying nothing.
Of course not.
He's not saying much. And I'm like,
no.
Johnny's probably doing it all.
Hey, you know, I'm trying to look at Johnny like, man, don't smoke in the kid's car, man. We don't even know if it's his car or not.
It's blown in its
like
face.
His mom might have to go to work, and now she got weed, and she's looking at him. And I'm like, he's from Spring, bro. The kid might be in a damn rehab clinic or something. They go over the top up there. You know it.
We do. We don't fuck around.
Man, that's.
Do you remember what I said to you afterwards? When he got out of the car, I was like, "Hey, how do I get the smell of weed out of my car?"
I told him.
You were begging him for advice.
I literally told him he needed to light a candle and leave it in the car till the morning.
Yeah,
because it will burn off the smoke.
Oh, but then you're a pro. Yeah. You're a pro.
But I was like, I don't think you should leave an open flame in your car.
Like, open flame? I'm like, you want that shit to leave or not?
Next time, don't let them smoke.
We went and did one show that was like at a church or something.
Yeah.
And, it was... And then we ended up at another spot like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And that shit was all right.
Oh, yeah. I think we did first show was a bomb. That's why I originally wanted to go to Cincinnati. Because we had all just bombed. I was like, I got to wash this bomb off me. So we went to Cincinnati.
I didn't bomb.
Okay. There was no one there. No one did great.
I didn't bomb.
We did a show in a church, which was very weird, and it was fine. But then, we went to a bar at like 1 a.m, and we all just like had great sets. But I mean, Ray lit the place on fire. I didn't know anyone could laugh that hard at 1 a.m. But I mean,
man, we had a good time.
I will say, and I talked about it earlier. One of my favorite things, and that's one of my favorite memories, is just part of comedy is just the hang of comics. I think that's why we stick around so much, is because like we get to like do this and just hang out all the time. But I remember there was one time we were outside of the Barrel House, and there's no way you remember this. But I was very new to stand-up, and I didn't really talk that much. I just kind of hung out, and, I was pretty quiet, just kind of listening to the other comics. We're sitting on the porch of the Barrel House, and there's another comic in Dayton named Travis Charles, who's a heavyweight comedian. Good friend of ours, but he's a heavy guy. So we're sitting there, and across the street... there's this guy walking who's the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he was very dirty looking. He was wearing a shirt that was not big enough. His stomach was hanging out. It was not our friend Travis. His stomach was hanging out. He clearly did not have a home. And Ray goes across the street. I got to back away from the mic, but he goes, Trav! Trav, where you going, man? Hey, the mic's this way. Trav, where you going?
Travis, sign up. Come on.
Dude, he said that, and I remember dying laughing. Just dying.
I don't remember
that. My God, Ray. I think about it once a month.
Sometimes Ray, the thing I think of with Ray once a month is when there's that old black guy at Wiley's. Ray was a dude with he had like a Sherm perm. He had the slit back like Jerry. He had the Al Sharpton shit, and he was up there with a nice suit on. He was like, that nigga looks like a black abolitionist. Was like, what? He was like, he got his own freedom and everything.
Yeah. He said, that motherfucker bought his freedom shit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's one of my favorite things. I remember we did a lot of shows together. I think my worst set of all time was at a show that you booked. You definitely know what the worst set of all time I had was. We performed at a VA.
Oh, dude, you think that's the worst? That was bad.
Where was that?
That was bad, but...
You booked this VA. I was on 9/11. I remember they doubled down on it. They're like, let's do a VA.
At a veterans bar, y'all, they booked a comedy show on 9/11.
This was only 2 years ago.
Ray.
I don't even remember.
It had to be 2 years ago.
Damn, Unk.
You know I don't. I do. We've done. You'll see. Keep
Kyle
going.
was hosting. I remember this.
Did I host?
You was hosting, bro.
I just got over a sickness, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I'll be okay. Because I sounded okay. But when I got on stage, my voice just stopped working. And I already wasn't crushing. So I was bombing. Then my voice goes out, and I'm just like, I couldn't talk. I was trying to get a glass of water. I couldn't do anything. And I was just like, this is the worst thing ever.
Bro, I was just hanging out. I remember everyone on that show was doing real rough till Ray got it. Because it was a clean VFW show on 9/11. And if VFW shows are usually not clean.
Was that the one in Bellbrook? Or
yeah, it was Bellbrook, bro.
Ah, Brookville, yeah.
He was up there hosting because they didn't have a host, and Kyle, he was struggling. But then a dude says something to Kyle about, like, you need to go. You was like, hey, I dropped out of college for this. He was like, yeah, you need to go back to college. And Kyle started ripping on him, like, hey, thanks for the guys from Ice Road Truckers for showing up to the show tonight. Everybody starts laughing, and it looks like Kyle's about to get out of it. And he was like, hey, man, I know you have to get it on DVR for Storage Wars, so thanks for coming out and missing out on. And we're like, oh, he's killing them. And then that's right when what the fuck he was talking about. He was like, yeah, it's...
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah, he just...
I can't even
it's like his voice went to mute, like... Phew.
He was like, and the dude was like, what? It's like he really wanted to know. Like, what did I do? Water.
You know how hard it is to roast somebody when, like, you can't talk? It's like you're in the middle of a rap battle. You guys get it. It's like you're in the middle of a... I don't know. Shit. That's the only analogy I can go for. It was like he's saying things, he's heckling me. I'm trying to roast him back. I think he says something. I try to get him, and my voice just goes out. So I'm like, I guess he wins. It was the worst.
I remember that was paid off of tips, and Ray killed, and everybody tipped, and Ray splitting the money up with people. He went up to Kyle and was like, "Hey, man," Kyle was like, "You know what? You don't even need for that what I just did, you know." And Kyle, Ray was like, "Take the goddamn money, Kyle."
So nice he is.
Yeah, take the money, motherfucker. You came out here, shit. Give him that. Oh,
we get paid for the attempt, man.
Well, the irony of it, we then went down in the Oregon district afterwards, and then we did the show on a sidewalk. We set up a speaker on the sidewalk, which we would do from time to time, and we just like did a show there. Hardest I've ever crushed.
You killed, bro. You was really low key the only one that killed that, bro. Because that was unorthodox. Us trying to start it out. Because you started doing the parking lot shows at Wiley's after show. That was a little better because we had set up chairs and get people. Sidewalk, it was purely you had to create the audience right then.
Survival mode. That's
and I didn't know nothing. This is at the time where I had no crowd interaction shots of it. I got thrown up that night. And I think you just had went up like 2 before me, man. I got there. That was probably one of my worst ones. So we both are same night.
Good.
What a night.
It was horrible. I was up there just trying to find stuff. I saw people walking. I'm like, oh, and look at that guy. Yeah. Right? You got a bicycle. Look at that. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking
He's like,
about.
I do. I don't want to throw you under the bus here, Ray, but we did a show. It had to be within the last year, maybe 2 years.
Ray's starting to just lose it these last few. What'd he do?
No. This is something, well, it's not really on him, but it's a story about both of us. So it was a show at Wiley's, and it was a predominantly black audience, which is fine.
Right.
I do them a lot.
A lot.
In this case, I wasn't on the show. I think somebody got sick, and they needed somebody to fill time, and I was there.
Oh, yeah, we put you on.
Yeah, and do you remember how you introed me?
No.
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you. So I was going to do fine, and then I think I was going to do fine, but you said, all right, make some noise for this next young guy coming to the stage. He's a white guy. Give it up for Kyle Rittenhouse, everybody.
Shit.
You introed me as Kyle Rittenhouse.
And nobody even laughed,
The crowd was like, no. Like, they got more mad at me than you. Like, they thought I was the guy. And then I'm like, let me just try stand-up. And
I'm sorry.
That's right. That was the first time afterwards I was like, hey, man. Yeah. Rough intro. I bombed.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. It's very funny now.
It was a black show and things went.
That was literally the day of the verdict, Ray. And you.
It was. Oh my God, I forgot.
I thought it was gonna hit, and they was like, no. It's like trying to sexual position. She's like, no. That matter of fact, fuck it, just stop.
Yeah,
stop.
That was that was definitely the most nervous I was.
So has your sex life changed since coming?
Since that show, yeah, it dried up quite a bit. No, I'm kidding.
No black pussy after that show, basically.
Yeah, before
that.
Have
you ever had interracial sex?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
So you don't find black women attractive?
That's not what I'm saying. Where's my camera?
Now,
Where's my camera?
You don't.
Not at all what I'm
He
saying.
just said
He thinks they're cigas.
Okay, that is enough.
Oh.
I've seen.
Name 2 attractive black women right now that you find
That's a
attractive.
good question.
Beyonce and Rihanna. They're both black.
And they're very popular. Name 2 black women in all.
What do you want me to name? Somebody who works at a gas station? What do you want me to say?
Do you watch black porn?
Yes, I have watched black porn from time to time, Your Honor.
Not the ones where the black guy's fucking the dude's wife. I'm saying a black woman having sex. Have you watched that?
Do you know any black porn stars?
I do not. Usually the black porn that I watch,
Roxy-
it's 2 white people fucking and there's somebody working in the background at like a Starbucks.
Roxy Reynolds, Pinky, Jada Fire, Naomi Banks.
You know too many, damn it.
Morose Fox, Anna Fox.
How
Do
much
your
porn
research.
do you watch?
A lot, dude. He watches
Do your
a crazy
I'm
amount.
trying to bridge the racial gap in America right now.
Like he's
Ray.
giving me
That's what
homework.
I'm-
It's like he got an A on that test. I
Do
tell
you-
you, he got an A on this porn
All right,
test.
look, because I can name his peoples.
He got an A+.
That's
Riley
what we're-
Reid.
Look, that's what we're talking about.
Alexis said
You are
so
too.
bridged. Well, okay, let me ask you,
You
this.
should be way bigger.
real quick.
Your right hand should be way stronger.
He knows more porn stars' names than names of his own family members. I think that's what
Dog,
bothers me.
right now, low key, if I could probably name like 100.
Porn stars?
Just in like, if you give me a timer, 100.
Let's put it on the clock.
I could just real quick before we outro you out. I'll literally do it. Babe, these are just jokes. That's to my girlfriend. These are jokes. Okay, I'm gonna put the timer on. I'm gonna do it right now.
No. 100?
Jada Fire, Pinky, Kiana Jade, Jasmine Cashmere, Riley Reid, Mia Khalifa, Angela White, Danny Daniels, August Ames, Bella Danger.
I bet your dingling is just pink as it want to be right
These
now. You
also
just
sound like perfumes.
damn,
Sarah Banks, Kimberly Brinks, George Floyd did a tape once. Nobody saw it. Y'all didn't see it.
I thought he was going to name George Floyd as one of them. I was like, doesn't count.
HanebShow.com. Check it out with Kimberly
What
Brinks.
do you do? Get trapped in a
Nina
room?
Roddy, Ambitious Booty, Miss Booty, Miss Suckable. That's great. Kitten, Vanessa Blue, Ray. You talked to her once. Imani
I did
Rose,
talk to Vanessa Blue.
India Summers. Oh man, she's dope. Princess, with Z PRINZZESS, Princess. She only does lesbian
Hey,
porn.
man, hold on,
Shyla
man.
Jennings.
No one's keeping count.
Oh man, hold on.
Y'all interrupted me too much 1 minute, but I could have. Either way, boom. That's what we do. Unk&Nephew podcast.
You sound like the DMX of porn. Just started naming.
When I'm a fan of something,
Pinky.
I get in it.
Pinky.
Look, I can name 100 comedians right now. I can name 100 porn stars right now.
You cannot
Okay.
have a lot of money.
When's my birthday, you son of a bitch?
You cannot have a lot of money.
I'm Asperger's with porn. I could just give the whole. But
Asperger's, also a porn star. I want to make that
real quick, we got a little bit of time left. I want to ask, since we were on, about sex or relationships, whatever. How do you feel? Since this is a generational conversation, who pays for the date, the first date? Who pays for the first date?
I think it's fine either way, but in my experience, I think I've always been on the first date. I don't know. There could be a woman out there watching. She's not. What am I kidding? Oh, no, the 3 of them, they're not watching. I think I've paid for the first date each time. Still go on dates?
Yeah, I was on a date that I took a chick to a show with me. Just to, yeah.
A comedy show?
Yeah, I was doing it.
Why would you do that?
You
Because
get booked?
when they see, I put myself in the show basically, but I was the best one because I've learned, like, you take a chick to the show and you know you're gonna kill. That just makes her feel that much more important that she with me, and then shit just goes that much easier.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? And then you can kind of you can work your way around it, because then if they get too involved, hey, I got too many shows right now. I'll be back in town in 2 weeks. I get with you. Sometimes I ain't even got shit going on. I just don't want to be bothered with it.
Just for point of reference, he is in town, and he told me he's very free.
He has
I'm
a
about
show
to-
tonight, Franklin,
I'm about
Ohio.
to do. Yeah, I'm in Franklin tonight.
Are you going to do a spot in Franklin tonight?
Yeah,
Headlining.
man. On a Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
They
but
paying me for
real
it.
quick, Kyle, is there anything you want to, social medias you want to shout out, or any projects or any big shows in the near future you want to talk about, or just real quick?
Oh boy, I probably should have had this ready. But I mean, my social media, I mean, Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me, Kyle Kemper on both of those.
You got to spell that, man. We got black people out here.
Okay.
Kemper, yeah, give that Kemper.
I'm
That's
spelling it for all of the races. I don't think black people
not
can't
just
spell.
the Siggers.
Let's make that very clear. It's Kemper. That's Kemper. And Thursday, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio at High Grain Brewery, but this is not going to be released by then. So
save some shit in October.
Any distant one that may be a really good show, whatever.
October, I think I will have OD'd by then. So
there we go.
Thank you so
it
much.
is Dayton, Ohio, and he's white. That is
Let me
typical.
ask you. We got always one irrelevant question.
Yeah, okay, real
right.
quick.
8 inches. What's the question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Not that.
Okay.
All right. Toilet paper. Or toilet tissue. You put it on the thing. Do you put it over the top?
Yep.
Or from the bottom?
Over the top, and I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
I go from under the bottom.
What? Fight Ray. Fight Ray.
I
Race
go
war.
from under the bottom.
All right.
I'm doing
Turn
it
off these
differently now.
cameras.
I'm over the top. I'm with you, man. Young generation. We the
Thank you so
Thundercats.
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming
All
in,
right.
Cal. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks
it,
for coming
man.
in,
Much
man.
success.
Kyle
Appreciate it.
Kemper. Follow him on all his social media. Follow us. Unk&Nephew podcast. Unk with a K, not a C. Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, man. Thanks for giving us a listen, man.
Thank
we out. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kyle
man.
Kemper.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We out. Peace.